Hi, Dr. Saxena here. Again, we are going to talk on something called artificial lighting today. What is this thing called artificial lighting? I believe, in the sense, we look into light derived from any other source uh, apart from sunlight is artificial light. See, this is basic. Uh, this should be noted that the radiation shielded full spectrum fluorescent light, although classified as an artificial light, closely emulates the effects and appearance of sunlight. So, big things to be discussed, and somewhere I am started talking about how you can jeopardize your melatonin levels by with this artificial lighting, and this artificial lighting can be a cause of your diseases. It can be any chronic diseases you may be suffering. Artificial lighting must be a one simple cause. So, what are the toxic effects of most forms of this artificial lighting? And this, I think, when we look into some things called fluorescent light, and a fluorescent light has got it's a type of artificial light produced by passing a current through the tube called argon gas and mercury vapor. So these fluorescent lights can be made to emit any combination of colors. Now we have got fancy colors. People like to get that light in the green or red or yellow colors and all that. So the more the color, I can always tell you about something like yellow color or something. You need to add that metals into that, apart from that mercury and argon gas. So what are the toxic effects? This is although it is fluorescent light, we call it as a tube light here, and it is one of the we say it is a very cool light, and it's not that cool. This they can jeopardize your hormones. Number one is your it can produce excessive levels of ACTH, which in turn produces high levels of cortisol, and all forms of fluorescent light, they emit something called ultraviolet radiation in excess, and ultraviolet radiation is the one thing which is being we know now fluorescent lighting causes increased risk of skin cancers because of one that particular stuff. So coming back to this cool white fluorescent lighting, cool is associated with some eye disorders or eye inflammation. It increases the risk of, already I have spoken about skin cancer, and this is supposed to increase the risk of something like melanomas. Melanoma, due to the excessive levels of ultraviolet radiation, this is one of the research which was done as. And fluorescent excess of fluorescent lighting can cause fatigue, and it can lead to stress and attention deficit disorders, and which we have commonly seen of with children having that low attention span, and they are very hyperactive, and this is can be attributed to the mercury which is present. It's a low kind of keeping on that particular stuff. This levels which are ubiquitous, and they are just getting into your system. This is one of the reasons for ADHD, and I have seen people with insomnia because of this cool white fluorescent lighting. I have seen business people with the shops and all that keeping that lot of white lights, causing a problem. It can, in fact, it can create a problem with your vitamin A absorption as well as calcium absorption here. Friends, light I can't take very lightly this term, which is because it has got all the electromagnetic radiation within the wavelength of 380 to 770 nanometers. And see, we apart from that, you have got the blue end spectrum, and blue end spectrum is one thing which we have been always talking about this. And it can suppress your secretion of melatonin because of that particular thing, because it directly works with the pineal gland and this particular stuff. So coming to some other things also, light, artificial light can destroy the alpha linoleic acid, causing more of oxidation of the causing more peroxidized fats, which can cause really a nasty thing in the plaque formation and all that. And this is the thing, exposure to rhodopsin, which is one of the things called major visual protein in the eyes to light. It causes conversion, in fact bleaching to opsin and retinol. And I can always go on and on. Light can destroy coenzyme Q10 also. There are some of the medications which we believe should be protected away from the light, and it should not be direct light, should not come onto that. There are a lot of things, and I somehow want to put a kind of awareness among people that don't take this lights lightly. And yes, I always keep telling that yes, you need to look at this sunlight, and this is one of the things which is as essential as food, air and water. Sunlight, though sunlight comprises a mixture of ultraviolet radiation, visible light and the infrared radiation, it still has got that a lot of positive effects and all. And if you can avoid that period where maximum ultraviolet rays and all that come, you can always go for this health benefit of sunlight exposure. And sunlight exposure health benefits, I certainly think it is one of the things which everyone has to look into that. One side is your artificial light and the other side is the sunlight. And I somewhere people who are moderately exposed to sunlight, they don't get into atherosclerosis. Their efficiency of the heart increases. They are not hypertensive. They don't get into hypertension. And see, this is a very simple thing. It helps in immune system, immune regulation a lot. There are studies which showed high levels of, contrary to the popular belief, high levels of this sunlight exposure reducing that risk of melanoma, which see, moderate sunlight exposure is very essential for reducing the risk for melanoma. We used to think that it is the excessive sunlight exposure which is causing that melanoma, but that's the other way around. Though we advise you not to go for the excessive sunlight because of some do things as here. I would like to tell you one more thing about sunlight, is that one another cancer which we can prevent is ovarian cancer. You can always prevent this ovarian cancer by exposure to the sunlight, optimal exposure to the sunlight. And optimal sunlight kills most of the detrimental bacteria in the intestines and all that, or the skin also. Here we are talking about how this sunlight is optimizing your production of blood cells, white blood cells and all that. When it comes to the metabolism, I'm totally focused on sunlight, because I just want to give the best things what you can get from sunlight. Metabolism, sunlight increases the basal metabolic rate. Sunlight reduces the cholesterol levels, and it reduces the fatigue. And we have seen people exposed to who suffer from jaundice. Sunlight exposure cures the newborns with jaundice. And you have got reasons to say your hypothyroidism also can be corrected by good sunlight. And so the benefits are amazing with the sunlight. Only thing is, we have to really, because of we live in these conditions, we have to really work it out how you can balance your artificial light as well as the sunlight. And a lot of things I can go on. The most important things, this is the sunlight stimulates the production of melatonin within the pineal gland. This melatonin is manufactured within the pineal gland during daylight, and hours for daylight hours, and later it's released in the night. So after the sunset, the cessation of exposure to sunlight triggers the pineal gland to cease manufacturing melatonin and start secreting into the bloodstream. And this absence of sunlight, that is darkness, is necessary to enable the secretion of melatonin from the pineal gland during sleep. So this, based on this, a lot of work has been done. If you are secreting proper melatonin, you are not going to get into any kind of health problems. And this is one of the things which I thought, let me reinforce again and again. I've been talking about sunlight for a while. Every thing we believe that excessive exposure causes some problems. It can accelerate aging process. It can excessive exposure can damage the p53 tumor suppressor gene. So you need to be careful not to do over things here. And it has been what we are trying to work it out is balance that particular stuff. And along with this balancing, you can always decrease the artificial sunlight exposure also. That simple word of caution, I think these are the things which has to be looked into when we talk about this light, and when we talk about this artificial light, as well as we talk about this sunlight. Thank you.